Welcome to Taking It to the Nub. This is Boston Jimmie, your host, and today I am here broadcasting live from Executive Cigar Lounge in Sanford, Florida. This is the beginning of the Boston Jimmie Stogie Press Let's Open America just from a cigar eyeball. All right, today, my guest today is Danny DiFabio, who's running an event here at Executive. And Danny is the owner of Rodriguez Cigars in Key West. Danny, welcome.
Thank you, Boston Jimmie. It's an honor to be here, my friend. Long time coming since me and you both did an interview, that's for sure.
It is. I've known Danny now for, almost a decade.
I would say that. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit more.
And I used to visit Key West for years. And I would go into this little cigar shop that was sitting next door to the Kino Sandal factory. And I would walk in there, and there was this old man in there, an old Cuban man. He was just rolling the cigars, and he had an old lady rolling the cigars. And I loved that place. And I went down years later, and Danny was there, and I asked about the old man, and he said that was his grandfather. And pick it up, Danny.
Well, I mean, as soon as you came in that day and you mentioned that you knew my grandfather, it was almost as if that me and you were bonded. It was almost as if that me and you were brothers at that moment, because the connection that my grandfather had with so many people, meant so much to many people. And the only way that I realized that it meant so much was to hear these people talk about it like you did. And that means so much to me. And you are a definite great friend of ours. And it's an honor, again, to be talking with you again on this podcast.
So you're here having an event. Now, I've spoken to you numerous times since then. We've spoken on the phone. I was down there a couple of times. We've spoken. And I always said, why don't you bring your cigars more mainstream instead of just Key West? Here you are. You got cigars in Sanford, Florida, of all places. Why here?
Well, for me, I had a chance to meet Tom a few months back, and got a chance to hear him talk a little bit about the establishment that he has. And for us, it really means a lot to have establishments like this, hold our products in their humidors. And it just made sense. He came down a couple months ago and we talked about doing an event, and it worked out perfectly because our partnership with Papas Pilar, who's out of Key West, wanted to coincide with an event at the same time. And it was just perfect because, for me, having a cigar complemented by a nice rum, especially with Papas Pilar Rum, it really fits the bill as many people in regards to enjoying a nice evening. And this establishment is a little bit different than most. And for us to be here, means a lot, because if you take a look around, Humidor is immaculate, their bar is immaculate, their location's immaculate. And for me to branch off from Key West locally to a place like this just makes a lot of sense. They have an abundance of people here, and their bar is top shelf. And you know me, I'm not about just putting it everywhere. This makes sense.
This does. And this fits the brand, the luxury of the brand, the history of your brand. I mean, this is a small town Florida. Okay. So when you think about even the Florida Keys, you look at some places like you got Miami, you got Tampa. Sanford, Florida is a small town.
Yeah.
All right. You got this absolutely beautiful lake there, which kind of probably reminds you a little bit of Key West.
It does. And I was telling my wife a little while ago that I should have brought my fishing pole, but unfortunately I'm not rigged up for freshwater.
Now, I've smoked a number of your cigars. I reviewed them. One of your first cigars, the Serie 84 Maduro, was one of the first cigar I reviewed from you. And I just tell everybody that is the most viewed cigar review on store. It has thousands and thousands of views on it. People come to that. And I ask you, is it because people are interested in Rodriguez cigars, or you think they're interested in cigars in Key West? Or they just see Boston Jimmie wrote a cool review?
Well, that's actually that's a hard question to answer. First and foremost, I'm very, very proud to be from Key West. It's my home. It's a very unique place. I take a lot of pride in representing my home, and I love my family, and I love my friends, and I love the people in that community very dearly. And to be outside of that community in a place like this, means a lot. And and to be here with Papas Pilar, they're one of our partnering companies, and they're like a very, very big brother to us. And for us to do an event like this at a place like this together means a lot, because it's like you go in Key West, you do events together in Key West. You go certain places in the state, you do events. It's awesome to be next to your family while you're doing these things. And here we are 10 years later from when the first interview occurred. And, hopefully we can continue that. And that means a lot.
So I've gone through these various cigars in your portfolio, and you just broke out something brand new. And I know you well enough that there is no such thing as rushing time when it comes to a cigar. You
Not
and I actually spent on that Series 84 months smoking it, talking on the phone, and jointly making the decision that it was time to release that cigar because you wouldn't let it go.
No.
What are we smoking now? Explain to people this new cigar and how special this is to you.
Well, this is a very unique blend, and it's not even on the market yet. This is something that I've had in my possession for approximately 3 years, and I'm not really blowing smoke when I say that. Me and my friend and my business partner, Guillermo Pena, who he's my brother, sat down and wanted to create something special. And this blend called the 1831 Selección Viejo represents that in Key West. And being that the cigar industry started in Key West in 1831 as the original cigar making capital of the United States.
Before it ever went to Tampa.
Yes, I wanted to commemorate Key West as the original cigar making city. Recently, Cigar Aficionado came out with an article that you can check out on our Facebook page that tells you a little bit about the origins. In 1875, Vicente Martinez Ybor was making over 10.2 million cigars in Key West before Tampa was even thought of.
It's a lot of cigars back in the day.
Yes. And I wanted to focus on the origin, the roots of our city. And that year, 1831, stood out to me because that was the start of when tobacco started coming in from Cuba, being manufactured in Key West, and then being distributed to Tampa because they had the railroads for distribution during that time.
The Flagler Railroad.
Well, Flagler to the Keys and then going up to Tampa, the man did the rest. But this is a Connecticut broadleaf, very limited. We're smoking the Lancero size, and this has tobacco from Nicaragua from 3 regions: Condega, Esteli, and Jalapa. The binders I will not disclose. That's a little secret that we have. But this cigar has been around since late 2017, early 2018 in my humidor. And the significance of the age represents the smoothness on the palate. But when you retrohale this cigar through the nose, there's power there. There's a nice kick, burn, to let you know that it's still a medium to full-bodied cigar. But the smoothness really can allow a lot of smokers to enjoy it. And that was the plan, is versatility and wide range of smokers that can enjoy this.
Well, I'm definitely picking up a nice sweet note to it. There's a very faint pepper in my palate right now on this. It's not over the top. The burn's been beautiful so far. What? So these are not released yet?
No.
What?
This is a very, very exclusive blend that we might put into a higher production, but this is something that I just had fun with. This is something that I put together with me and my buddy Guillermo.
Yes. So you should know that Rodriguez cigars are manufactured through Guillermo Pena's factory. And if Guillermo Pena sounds familiar, that's the same factory makes Stallone Cigars and Tobacco Trading Company, some of the most highly rated cigars on Stogie Press. And that's for a reason. The guy's really that good.
And it's crazy to think that when me and Guillermo first started out, that I was his first phone call.
Tell me about that.
My cousin was hired by Guillermo Pena to roll cigars for him in Miami. Mariuca Rodriguez. That was his lead cigar roller in 2010, going on 2011. I get a call from my cousin, and she's like, I'm working with this guy. You should come up here. You should meet with him, talk with him. I was like, okay, good, we'll do. Me and this man had a conversation, and he didn't have 5,000 cigars in his inventory. I didn't have 5,000 cigars in my inventory, but we both sat down with the same type of picture, same type of vision, and shared the same love. And I consider that man a brother. When I say that, I truly mean that.
He is a special person.
And me and him go way back to the point of blending cigars at 10:30 at night in Esteli in a small little facility that managed to be created to create our blend. And I've taken a significant amount of time away from the wholesale distribution to really focus on the core reason of why I want to enter this community of cigars. I don't say industry, I say community, because there's so many people in this industry that are such phenomenal people that you can sit down with them and you feel like your family. And that's why I say community.
And that's what it's all about. You know, you read about people like downplaying on the cigar culture and this and that. Leave us alone, okay? We have a special thing. It's an adult product. This is an adult hangout. This is what we do. This is what we enjoy. Did you, when you took over the reins, and this company now is, I guess, 37 years now? 80, if I did my math right, 84?
I will always remember that question because I was born in 1984.
There you go. So 37 years. You were born in 84. The company was founded in 84. You picked up the reins. You had a vision to do something. And not only did you take the shop that your grandfather had and expand upstairs into a beautiful aging room, now you've taken that and expanded it into a lounge. Talk a little bit about what you've got going on in Key West right now. For those that have not been there, and oh, by the way, if you're in the Sanford, Orlando area, you ought to come up here right now because you can get in on a raffle to win a free trip to Key West.
Oh, yeah.
Just put that out there. But let's get back to the question.
Well, Jimmie, we stand here and we talk about cigars, right? We came out with an idea that we don't want to just make a cigar to make a cigar. We want to make a cigar for a purpose, for a reason, right? You take a step back and you look at the first time we talked. What was the first thing we talked about? Can you remember? What was the vision back then? What was the conversation about in the humidor?
You wanted to expand and give uh, credence to your grandfather and show that what he built is going to be even bigger.
Correct. Correct. I made a promise to a dying man, a man that's built many relationships with people just like you. And I felt like if I wasn't involved and treated it with love and respect, that people like you would not find any interest, that it would just be gone. And I don't want that. I want people like you and people all over the country to realize that there's still a cigar company in Key West that really cares about the quality of the product representing that city. And that's why I'm here.
Now, what are, in your mind, the most critical quality attributes of a cigar?
Well, number one is flavor, and it will always be flavor. And the complexity of that flavor, the depth. You want a cigar to take you on a ride. It's not just a habit, right? That's not what it's about. It's a ride. That split second, 45 minutes, an hour of just dessert-like textures, a zen, a period of time where everything just stands still. You say it how you want, but creating a flavor profile, creating an action, creating an experience for that 30, that 45, that hour is what it's about, period. Because we all know that we are 100 miles an hour in our lives. And what is it going to take for 30 to 45 or an hour to slow us down and to just relax? But see, it's hard to relax with a cigar that may not, give you the dessert-like texture, the flavors, the complexities that we want. So initially, when I took over, that's the first thing that I wanted to concentrate on, is what are the flavor profiles that people desire. And to me, I've come up with dessert-like textures. And that's what I blend myself around. Dessert-like textures wrapped with balance, strength. And the cigar you're smoking, I think, is an example of that because of the smoothness of the age on that. But the seed lines and the depth, providing it with a Lancero that can be enjoyed any time of day. Medium to plus full, would you say?
Yeah, this is definitely medium plus.
Medium plus.
And a full body, without a doubt.
But the action on the palate doesn't act like that.
No, I'm getting actually some nice dark chocolate, coffee notes. There's a hint of spice laying in the background. It's not overpowering, as you say, the dessert flavors, right? But it's there to kind of brighten it a little bit.
Absolutely. And that was the shocker for me with that blend, because initially when you blend a lot of broadleaf on a smaller ring gauge, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming to smoke. And it holds a lot of water. Broadleaf, when you're working with it and when you want to age it for the first 5-6 months, there's so much water in that cigar that it almost leaves you in an abyss of the unknown. You're blending it, you know what it's like right there, fresh. But when we blend this cigar, This cigar holds so much water that I can't even taste it until like a month and a half, 2 months, 2 months later after you made it. So you're assuming on seed lines, you're assuming on what you know up to that point. But there's a period of time where you have to wait for this broadleaf wrapper to give you a chance to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm bringing. Get used to this. So that 3.5, 4.5 month process of just kind of waiting and letting it see where these prototypes, and you make the same wrapper prototype, but with different filler and binder combinations. The wrapper is the same, but you make all these different combinations. But this combination stood out from day one. And that's very rare considering when you're blending this, because it needs time.
Yeah. And you're the man of time. You don't rush it. Okay. I mean, that's the beautiful thing, is that you want those cigars to be smokable right out of the box. Well, you don't get that box of cigars and you're like, yeah, I got to let it rest. No, you shouldn't have to do that. Right? I purchased the box. I want to smoke my cigars. I don't want to let it rest. Maybe the cigar I bought in the shop was ready. Sometimes you buy a cigar in the shop. It's been sitting on the shelf for a while. It smokes good. It's there. It's been there for a while, right? It's got a little more age on it. It's just sitting there. But out of the box, you want to have something that is ready to go, and you pride yourself on that. And I give you great credit for holding back on rushing something to the market.
Yeah, and when I talk to consumers, and I feel like they say, well, this cigar is great 2 or 3 years in the box. I'm just like, you bought that cigar when it wasn't great. So it's like one of those things where it's like, sometimes you do need to let these things go, because the tobacco will speak to you and say, you know what, it's not my time.
Exactly.
And that's the hardest thing in the world to read, because how do you know what to read?
You got to smoke it.
You got to smoke them. You got to know the seed lines, what seed lines work with one another. And those seed lines like Corojo, Criollo, Habano, they've been working together for hundreds of years. Those are like very original Cuban seed lines.
Absolutely.
But where these Cuban seed lines are grown in different places in the world can give you different attributes. So that's pretty interesting in itself, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, because they have to acclimate. I remember Corona Cigar, when they did the Drew Estate Barn Smoker a couple of years back when I was at, they described that Florida sun-grown tobacco as naturally genetically modified. And what they meant by that is they took a seed and they planted it in Florida soil. It doesn't know what Florida soil is. It has no idea. And the first batch sucked, all right? The second batch was, it took about 3 years for that seed, that plant, to acclimate to its environment. Same thing when they took the Cuban seeds, like you said, and moved them to Nicaragua. It took a little while to get acclimated, but once they did, it's the same. It's not even the same seed anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's a Nicaraguan Corojo.
Yeah, and a lot of times, everyone focuses on the soil of where it's grown in, but what temperature is it being hung in the tobacco barns at?
And that varies too.
We're in Florida. It gets pretty hot.
Yes, it does.
We're not mountainous. So humidity is a factor.
Always a factor.
So that's a very unique thing that they're doing, and I really commend them. I really commend the boys that are behind that project, working with the tobacco in Florida. FSG, ventured off and doing some really unique things in the industry, and my hat's off to those guys, because that's what this industry needs is invigoration. And for me, people that want to go ahead and try something different. And to be quite honest with you, what's it going to look like in 10 or 15 years? Are we still going to be smoking the same thing, or are we going to be smoking something different?
I think it evolves.
Absolutely.
It's just nature. We do have some things coming in from the audience here. I just want to give you some shout outs. So Andy Tassetti says, tell Danny I said hi.
Andy Tassetti. Wow. That man and his wife are so incredible. It's not even funny. And I wish them a great day, because when they come into my store, they always emphasize on making it a great day.
And it is
living
a great
life
day.
and just being with people that you love. And Mr. and Mrs. Tassetti, I just want to say thank you for coming and kindly chiming in today. And we want to say hello, and we miss you guys very dearly in Key West.
Your good friend, my good friend Guillermo says, I'm very proud to make the Rodriguez cigars. We have grown together for these 11 years. Danny's a brother to me. Thanks, Jimmie, for all your support. So thank you, Guillermo. You are special.
Guillermo is something is I mean, he's not just someone, he's my family, he's my brother. And I'm so happy that he commented today. He's putting a smile on my face because I know he's watching. And his family's incredible. You know, his father and his mother, when I get a chance to, you know, hang out with them and be with them, really remind me of my grandfather and my grandmother, because of the amount of love they have, the amount of love they give to me and show me, and it's really something special. They embrace me like if I was, you know, part of their family, and that means a lot to me. So Guillermo and the Pena family out there, we love you guys very much. And Abuelito, I want to say hi to you guys, and Abuelita, I love you very much, and hope you guys are doing well.
Okay, so I know you got to get back to your booth. Just really quick? How's this event going for you right now?
Well, this has been going fantastic so far. Executive Cigar Bar is a great place. Tom, everyone here on the staff is just super professional. They have everything on point. You know, this is beyond that what I thought we were going to be doing an event. You know, it's a beautiful view. Look at this lake over here behind us. I mean, there's so many people. It's a great evening. Got Papas Pilar in the house. You know, it's super amazing to have our big brother like that next to us again. And I honestly feel like I'm at home.
It is a Key West vibe, without a doubt. We got the band playing some good Jimmy Buffett music. So, Danny, it's a pleasure. I'm going to be bringing in Papa Pilars in a moment. So we're going to sit down and talk about rum. Danny, it's been great. I want to let you get back to your event.
Absolutely. I just want to take this time to thank my buddy Jimmie Vita right here.
Nobody knows my last name.
You are the man. Thank you so much for having me. And I just wanted to thank my beautiful wife. She's here with me and made this trip. I can't do the things that I do without her, and she's helped me so much tonight. And I just wanted to
she is your rock. There's no doubt about it.
She means so much to me. I love her very much. She's an amazing person. And I'm going to get back to this event, enjoy my night with my beautiful wife and these people here, and I'll let Pilar take over.
All right. That sounds fantastic, Danny. I'm going to do a quick commercial break here, and we're going to bring Papas Pilar in. Okay, so that was Danny DiFabio from Rodriguez Cigars here at Executive Cigar Lounge. We're going to do a quick commercial break here, and we're going to bring Papas Pilar over to talk about rum. So today's show is brought to you by Tarazona Cigars. Tarazona does it with passion. Tarazona premium handmade long leaf cigars are each rolled to the highest quality by masterful rollers. Each hand that touches the process takes pride in the quality and the craftsmanship of every cigar that goes into every box of Tarazona. So the next time you're looking for a fine smoke, do it with passion and reach for Tarazona. You can follow Tarazona Cigars on Facebook and Instagram and follow them at www.tarazonacigars.com. This show is also brought to you by the Cigar Clowns. The Cigar Clowns is our Facebook group that is on a journey to find the perfect cigar. If you don't know, you now know. Some people smoke cigars. The clowns are cigar smokers. Sign up to be the first to know when they drop their next cigar. The Ron just dropped June 4th in all limited Cigar Association shops in the United States. And this has been selling out across the country. Their latest drop, the Ron, is made at AJ Fernandez and available now exclusively at limited cigar shops across the country. Follow the cigars on Facebook at Cigar Clowns. Today's show is also brought to you by La Jolla del Chan. La Jolla del Chan is a dream come true for husband, wife, Gabby, El Chan, and Liz. They wanted all hands that work the tobacco in their home country of Puerto Rico to have the same opportunity to expose their products. They call it La Jolla del Chan because they cultivate part of their product, and at some point, they want to be able to supply the world with their native tobacco leaf. The pride that Gabby and Liz feel is the same pride that all those who work the tobacco leaf, and for this, they deserve a portal that represents them. They want to thank you for supporting their country. They always say, we will resist. Follow El Chan, La Jolla del Chan at www.lajolladelchan.com and El Chan Cigars on Instagram and Facebook. Today's show is also brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Family-owned and operated premium cigar company, Platinum Nova, produces a quality tobacco product. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the craftsmanship and the workmanship of a timeless blend. Expert craftsmanship goes into every cigar. This brand and their work to honor their grandfather and always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. A long-standing love for cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather and a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for an exquisite cigar experience, check out www.novacigar.com and also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget, if you go to their site and you use Boston Jimmie 15 as a code, you'll get 15% off all purchases. Today's show, lastly, is brought to you by Rockefeller Cigars. Rockefeller Cigars, otherwise known as the Vintage Rockefeller Cigar Group, exemplifies prestige and exquisite taste, blended in an incomparable combination of perfectly aged tobaccos. It's inspired by the era known as the Age of American Enterprise. The creation of each Rockefeller cigar captures a rich American history of men and women who prospered during a time of the Great Depression. Their entrepreneurial spirit made the United States the foremost economy of the 20th century. Their legacy reverberates today with a new generation of entrepreneurs now driven by both the passion to control their own economic destiny and to build companies that will impact the world in a positive way. I want to thank our sponsors. For without them, this show is always a little harder to do. And at this point, we're about to bring in Papas Pilar Rum. I think he just walked into the office, so we'll talk a little more. I tell you what, Danny DiFabio and Rodriguez Cigars, if you haven't had this brand, you can always contact them. You can always contact them down in Key West. Get on their website. You can purchase cigars directly from them. You can also purchase their cigars right here at Executive Cigar Lounge, Sanford. So let me bring in Papas Pilar. All right, so this is Kyle from Papas Pilar. So Kyle, I know your rum. I've had your rum down in Key West. I bought your rum here at in the Florida Wine and Spirits.
Excellent.
It's been on my bar now and then. Doesn't last long. Tell us about Papas Pilar.
So Papas Pilar,
Hold that real
a little bit closer. All right, sorry about that. So we originally got started, honestly, I want to say back in 2013 with Hemingway's son, Patrick. Our brand director, Lindsay, approached him and said that we had an idea that we wanted to go and have a new venture and take the Hemingway family and Hemingway name and make a truly unique style rum crafted in the spirit of Ernest Hemingway. And that's kind of what our whole mentality is, our whole approach to everything. Everyone that's employed by the company has that same mentality. We have the hashtag never be a spectator. Hemingway was never a spectator. If you had anything that had to do with anything, Hemingway was in it. He ran with the Bulls. He was in the military. The guy was an adventurer of adventurers. And that's truly how we as a company see ourselves and how we crafted our rum.
Now, how old is your company?
So 2013, so we're going on 10 years now. So the rums that we have a blonde, a dark, and then today with Executive Cigar, they hand selected their own single barrel of our sherry cask.
Oh,
So our rums are sourced from Dominican Republic, Barbados, Venezuela, and Panama, and then we have a distillery down in Key West. So the reason why we selected those particular ports is that's where Hemingway liked to travel. That's where, if anyone knows the story of him, the man, like I said, is an adventurer. He loved to fish. He loved to hunt. He loved to explore. And those particular ports and cities and countries were the places that he liked to, go. Obviously, Cuba for him was a second home, and Key West was as well. So that's kind of why we placed our distillery down there right off of Simonton and Green Street in the heart of Key West.
all right. So you actually have some bottles here to show
I do.
people. So we're gonna get a few bottles here. Maybe I can cop one for myself. And we'll talk about each one of these rums that he has. Yeah. All right. So
We'll kind of post this guy up back here, see if we can get him to balance. Perfect.
all right. So the first rum we have.
Let's see. Well, this.
Nah, it's not gonna work
It'll
like that,
work.
unfortunately.
All right. That's all good. We can hold it. We'll start with the blonde. So the blonde that he's got right here, when we first launched it back in 2013, it was the only blonde rum on the market. Now, currently, there is another rum that considers itself to be a blonde. And the reason for that is because, the rum that's inside of here, as I mentioned before, we are sourcing from all over. So it's got 7 different rums that are involved in that. But we take it and we age it additionally in a bourbon cask, and then we filter it into a sherry cask. So that's where you're really getting that blonde color. And then when you actually taste it, you're really tasting caramel and vanilla notes. The caramel you're pulling from the bourbon barrel, and the vanilla you're pulling from that sherry cask. And it's amazing how many people, like case in point, the gentleman outside, we're doing flights of rum out there. And this guy is a diehard bourbon drinker. He only drinks bourbon neat. He doesn't drink anything on the rocks. And he literally tried that and goes, I want to buy a bottle of that right now. I love this so much. It's just a truly unique style of rum.
Now, when you say you take it, so my understanding of rum, and I'm a big Scotch guy, Irish whiskey guy, but when it comes to rum, I understand that when I look at a bottle of rum and it says 5 years, 7 years, 15 years, there's got to be at least some rum in that's aged 15 years.
Correct.
Not the whole thing.
Correct.
But you take it to the next level and take the whole concoction and age it in the barrel.
Correct. So when I said there were 7 different rums in there, there's 7 different rums, and they're all aged differently. So coincidentally, if you look on the front of our bottle, you'll see that there's the number 7 on there. So the number 7 that's on that bottle, notice that we don't have an age stamp. I know it's really hard because of the blonde color. Trust me, when I try to photograph it, it's a pain in the butt. But so the number 7 on there is actually the 7th different blend and profile that we put together that our master blender and distiller Ron Paul selected, right? Coincidentally, it just so happens that there's 7 different rums in the bottle, and the oldest rum that's in there is a 7-year-old rum as well. So 777s, yes. but the number 7 on the front with us just means it was the 7th profile. A lot of the different rums that you'll see on the marketplace now will have that age statement on the front. And it's actually funny, the EU just actually passed a law that just went into place where in Europe, if you have an actual age statement on the front of a rum bottle, it actually has to have that old of a rum in the bottle completely. Not just the oldest rum, the whole rum has to be aged that specific year. And I love that law because it really clears up a lot of confusion when you have rums in the marketplace currently. You know, a lot of rums will have an age statement on it, and it's the same type of deal. You'll have a 24-year-old rum from XYZ company, but like you said, it's only 1% 24-year-old rum. The remaining 99% is a blend of everything else.
Good. So now what do we have up next?
So the next one we've got is our dark. So this one actually used to be our breadwinner. That was our #1 selling product of the two between the blonde and the dark. But since the COVID hit and honestly, since Florida has kind of really opened back up again, the blonde has been selling on fire. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing dark rum. Bartenders love it. Whiskey drinkers actually love it as well. It is a very approachable rum. It's not a spiced rum. We don't add anything to it. So if you look on the front, it's the same deal. The number 24 is the 24th profile that Ron selected of the blend. Now, obviously, because this is being a darker rum, this has got 9 different rums on the inside.
Wow.
So we are aging it same as the blonde in a bourbon cask and a sherry cask, but we also further age it in a port cask as well.
Nice.
So when you're tasting, you get a lot of, like I said, caramel notes, vanilla notes. You get some dark fig, fruitier notes to it as well. And it's honestly, it is really one of my favorite dark rums on the market. Both of these rums, that's got an 82 proof. This is an 84 proof. So they are overproof rums that drink like they're way lower than that in the 70 range.
And this one here sounds like it would go very well with kind of a bolder cigar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's honestly why we were doing this today with Executive Cigar. We have a very good relationship with Danny and the guys over at Rodriguez Cigars, obviously him being in Key West and our distillery being based down there as well. Rum in general as a category always pairs very well with cigars, but the notes that we're hitting specifically with those chocolate and dried fruit and vanilla and caramel pair absolutely amazing with tobacco. Like it's like a match made in heaven.
That's fantastic. I love that pairing. Now let's go to the third one.
So this guy is actually the single barrel. So if you happen to look on the right side of that, there is that label. I don't know. Yep, you can see it on there. So that is their specific blend. So just like a whiskey single barrel, they selected a single barrel of our sherry cask. When they selected that, we were still kind of in the COVID restrictions. So what happened was we ended up sending samples to them, and we did it via Zoom. It was a virtual tasting that they did.
Executive Cigar Lounge.
Yep. And oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. It was actually funny. I was having the food truck outside has some brisket and pulled pork, and their brisket uses a coffee rub. And oh man, I've been drinking this on the rocks. It paired awesome, literally awesome.
Wow. I bet it did, man, because that's another thing I like to enjoy rum with is steak food instead of wine sometimes.
Correct.
Right? You give a little sip of rum in between those bites of steak, and everything just kind of pops in the palate.
Oh, absolutely. So the main difference between this one and the dark rum that we were just talking about. So this starts off as our dark rum, and then once we pull it out of that port cask, we actually put it in a Spanish Oloroso sherry cask for about 6 months. Now it could be as young as 5 months sometimes. It could be actually as old as 8 months. Literally, it's all dependent upon when our master blender, Ron, he pulls a sample of it and goes, all right, this one's ready to be pulled. I like the flavor of this. It's ready to be presented to the consumers.
So you've been working with Danny now for a while, and I noticed when Executive put out the announcement of this event, There was this absolutely beautiful advertisement, like a 30-second clip between Papas Pilar and Rodriguez Cigars, that if you don't want to be drinking this rum and smoking Rodriguez cigars on the beach in Key West, you're losing your mind.
Absolutely. I'm working with Danny now. I've been with the company for almost 2 years, and I've done countless events with Danny. Like we sponsor the Jimmie Johnson fishing tournament out of Miami, and that's actually where I first met him. We immediately hit it off. We're just kind of two fun-loving guys, and like his cigars specifically have a flavor note that literally hits every single note that we have with our rum as well. And it really helps the fact that he loves rum and we love cigars. So
Now, if you were to take these rums and pair them against a Rodriguez portfolio, which one would go with what cigar best? Tough question, I know.
I'm gonna have to be brutally honest with you. So I am not a massive cigar smoker. I'm the occasional smoker. I got married last weekend, so I've smoked probably a little bit more cigars than I have probably in the past year. So I am not entirely familiar with his entire portfolio. I normally look at Danny and go, "Hey man, just give me whatever you like right now," and he'll pack one open, he'll cut the tip off and light it up for me and go, "Here you go, man, enjoy." So
So I think that the dark, like I said, the dark one probably goes very well with the Siri 84 Maduro. I'm thinking that light one goes very well with his Connecticut, all right, that he has.
Okay.
And then this one I haven't had yet. I've had those. I haven't had this yet because obviously this is special just for executive.
That's actually what I've been drinking all day today, and it is absolutely delicious.
Now I see you put ice in your rum. Do you do that all the time?
It depends on my mood, to be honest, to be 100% honest with you. Last night I was at an event here at the Imperial, and we were drinking until about 12:45, 1 o'clock. So I've been kind of like putting little training wheels on, adding some ice to it, just to kind of help myself out a little bit. But usually I normally drink it like my bourbon and my whiskeys neat, put it into a rocks glass or a Glencairn, and just drink it that way. A lot of times for other people that are kind of new into drinking rum, I'm telling them, put it on a rocks cube and not pack it full of ice, one solid cube, do it that way. Or if, like for some of the ladies, we'll take coconut water and actually freeze it into a sphere or freeze it into a cube, and then pour our sherry cask on top.
That's interesting. I never tried that.
Yep.
I mean, I drink my rum. I like fine rums, so I always drink it neat. And I always put it in. I have a glass that was came in a package with some high-end vodka. It's nice glasses. I don't even know what you call them.
Like a highball glass?
No, it's just it's kind of fluted up.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it's just you get it on the nose.
Yep.
All right, so it allows you to get the bouquet on the nose, and then
I'm trying to think of I know what you're talking about. The tulip glasses.
The tulip glass.
Yep.
Right.
The Bols Geneva. I used to work for a liquor distributor, and then Bols Geneva was one of the ones that we had, and they have these amazing tulip glasses. The Geneva is a very for those of you not knowing about it, it's almost like a gin, but it's very, very stronger, maltier flavor profile on it. And those tulip glasses, like you said, really releases all the bouquets and the notes that they're trying to hit and the essence of really what they're trying to accomplish.
Very good. So we didn't do this with Danny. I forgot to do this. I usually do this at the end of the show. So every guest, I always like to ask a few lightning round questions to.
Okay.
All right. So
I will do the best of my abilities.
Yeah. Short answers, real simple.
Sure.
Being a rum guy and having traveled around, what is your favorite rum destination?
Currently? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because I've been to a lot of different places that are just kind of new and upcoming into the rum portfolio. And I really have to say, I know I'm partial to this because I live here, but Florida right now and the craft distillers and the craft market that's up and coming and blowing up has really taken a hold of the rum market. And it was actually funny, if you look at a Nielsen report, rum as a portfolio for the first time in 7 years has had a positive percentage growth. We're actually up in the whole rum category, not just us as Pilar, but the rum as a category is up 5.5%.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which is amazing, because for a long time, rum has been on a decline.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I firmly believe that a lot of, like, same the craft distillers you have for brewing, same thing for on the liquor side as well. They're really helping push more and more people to start saying, oh, well, rum's more than just Captain Morgan and Bacardi.
that's right. That's right. So let me ask you another question. What are you streaming these days?
Online, normally it's whatever my new wife really enjoys on Netflix.
So what do you what have you enjoyed lately?
So currently, we just started the new Loki series on Disney Plus. We are both massive Marvel fans. I am an Iron Man guy from my childhood, going back to the comic books. I'm Team Stark all the way. So we've been watching that. We've actually been really into The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu.
Oh yes, fantastic show.
It is incredible. Like,
makes you think a little.
Absolutely. Really trying to put your mind in a different place as to what would happen in a future epidemic, I guess you could say, where, you know, having a child is a thing of, you know, rarity. Where, I mean, I have a 14-month-old. You know, we had our kid during COVID, which was actually probably one of the best times in the world to have a child.
What did you name your child during COVID?
His name is Jackson Robert Cooper.
Okay, so you didn't pick up some goofy name related to
no,
COVID.
and trust me, we heard all sorts of different ones when we were in the hospital too. Like, there was already what was it, Cara Rona? Not kidding. Like, I'm not kidding. The nurse came to us and goes, "Yep, this kid 2 doors down. That's her name, Cara."
That's nuts.
I was trying to think of the other one that she told me as well. I can't off the top of my head, but honestly, our kid is amazing. I would not ask for anything else in the world, and could not have asked for a better time to have a child, because I was home almost all the time with him.
That's got to be really special, because my children, I was always working when they were growing up, and you know, the grandchildren are what I love.
Oh, it was funny when we told my father, his grandfather, that, you know, we were pregnant. I couldn't tell who was happier, me to be a new father or my father to be a grandfather, because he's been asked.
Grandfather.
Yep, he's been asking me for so long. I'll be 38 this year, and he was like, "I'm finally, you know, you've finally given me a grandson."
Yep, grandfather.
Yep.
Hands down. He's happier. All right, last question, and the audience knows what's coming.
Oh boy.
Okay, because everybody gets this. There's no context in this question. It's a simple answer. Skirts or pantsuits?
Ooh. So I'm gonna have to go with a pantsuit.
Boom! He's in the minority with me.
My now wife, when we first met, would rock a killer pantsuit for her job, and it was one of the reasons why I fell in love with her. Was, man, she looks good in a pantsuit. I'm not gonna lie.
That's, you know what, that you're in a minority, and I totally agree with you. A woman that can rock a pantsuit can easily rock a skirt.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily the other way.
Yep.
So absolutely. Well, Kyle, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining the show. I'm going to do a quick wrap up here and talk about what's new, and you can sit and watch what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So what we've got now, we had a light week here on news and reviews. We'll go into Stogie Press here. We'll just wrap this up. So we did a couple of reviews this week. The first one was on the tobacco trading company Milk and Honey. Now, I've been talking about this cigar for a while. I finally got around to reviewing it. I've smoked a lot of these. This cigar is special. That's all I can say. It is a special cigar. You're going to like this. And there's no bones about this. And sorry there, Bones. I had to use that because there's no bones about this. This cigar right here uses a process of an old school process of putting honey water as part of the fermentation process. So yes, there is a honeyness that comes into it. It's part of the fermentation, and you will get those honey notes in it. You also get creamy notes in it. All right. This came in at a 95. This is they don't disclose the binder. It uses a River Valley, Connecticut shade on it from Connecticut, and it uses a Nicaraguan Habano, Corojo, and Criollo in the filler. So it's got a bold foot filler in this to add depth to what you're smoking. Um, Cigar wise, absolutely beautiful looking cigar. I love the band on it because it's unique, you know, and it tells the story with the milk and honey. You got the honey bees on the side. You got the cow sitting on top of the bee's nest. I mean, Patrick Potter did a great job on the design of this. When you look at the foot of this cigar, look at the swirl that's on this cigar right here. You can see all of that dark tobacco swirling into that. That's the depth that this cigar gives you. When you smoke this, it's a perfect morning cigar, by the way. It goes with a nice, rich cup of coffee. It's designed for that. The burn, spectacular. Nice burn cone, all the way down. Absolutely beautiful. The final analysis, it did have kind of a flattened burn cone. I had to take a point off, got to be honest with it, but it's complex and balanced, and it is a pleasurable and repeatable experience. I smoked at least a half a dozen of 10 of these between the time I was out there in LA, TPE, and when I came home. So absolutely, this is a cigar you want to go check out. You buy these by the box; they're $10, 30 in a box. They're $300 a box. It's designed to be bought by the box, so you could smoke one every day. Because, as Patrick would say, every morning should be this amazing. The second review we did was on Providencia cigars. Now, this is one of the cigars, is one of their limited edition cigars. Not that it's limited edition one time only. They make a very small batch of these, and then they release another small batch. This is called the Detox. And the Detox, we came in and rated it at a 93. The Detox was part of a portfolio of cigars that they created for with an 80s generation kind of thing. Boombox and other things they had in that line. But this one, they call Detox because, hey, man, if you lived in the 80s, there's a good chance you might have wanted to enter Detox. The box count says one here because they don't have them in boxes. You buy these in singles. You can get these at the Underground Cigar Lounge down in Texas. You can get online and check that out. They sell these. This cigar, it's kind of a medium to full in strength. It has a San Andreas wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and a Nicaraguan Ometepe filler. So, you know, if you like the Boston Jimmie, you're gonna like this cigar because of that Ometepe that gives it that rich, deep good sweet earth notes from the volcano. You look at this, nice looking cigar, well made. It is a box press cigar. It's nicely box pressed. Do you have a little bit of a jag in the burn here and a little bit of a flat burn cone? But flavor wise, this thing was complex, man. And what I liked about it, it kicked off with this strong dose of cayenne pepper, and then it had these gentle, sweet finish that followed on that, so kind of toned it down. So if you ever ate cayenne pepper and you needed to you drink some juice or something to just cool it down, that's kind of what it was doing. It had this beautiful sweet cookie aroma that came off of it and a mild fruit note that joined the mix early on, and it just continued to go from there. So in the end, final analysis, this is a 93. This is a fabulous cigar. This is a box-worthy cigar without a doubt. Check it out if you want to. If you want to get them, I know you can get these at the Underground Cigar Lounge. News, very light news week. The only news that I got sent to me was Crown Heads. Crown Heads has announced their latest 2021 version of Los Calaveras. And The nice thing about this is that this one, if you're familiar with Las Calaveras, they have the little coins on the side of the band, and there's usually 4 of them, and that's honoring um, certain people that have passed on to honor their life. And this year they've honored a rock star, an NBA All Star, a cigar industry veteran, and a movie great. And what those are, just so you know, is Kobe Bryant, Eddie Van Halen, cigar industry veteran Gene Tipton, and movie great Sean Connery. So this is a fabulous new entry from Crown Heads. I'm looking forward to checking these out. They're supposed to start shipping in July of 2021. I'm sure if you go to the PCA, they probably have if they're there at PCA, they might be talking about these there. So that's the news and reviews on Stogie Press. And this is Boston Jimmie here live, coming in from the Executive Cigar Lounge in Sanford, Florida. I just want to say thank you for everybody for watching. Check it out if you get a chance. If you've never been here and you're in the Orlando area, come on down to Sanford sometime and check out the Executive Cigar Lounge. It sits right off Lake Mon Road. It's absolutely big, beautiful lake off to the side. Um, it's got a big wraparound patio. They have live bands outside during these events. It's got a big humidor. You could check out the review. We did it on our Cigar Lounge review page. You're going to like this lounge. It is definitely a go-to place for any cigar enthusiast. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to get outside and smoke some more Rodriguez cigars, and I'm going to start having a couple of drams of Papas Pilar. And you all have a great weekend. And I'll catch you all next week. We'll talk about what that's going to be during the week. I'm working on some really good stuff. And again, we're reopening America cigar-wise. So continue to follow me as I take the Boston Jimmie Reopen American Tour live to different cigar lounges in the country. So have a good day. Enjoy. Stay smoky. Thank you for watching.